as you said, what firms are doing is they're piloting and piloting and piloting, but what they're not looking at enough is the cost model that sits below the firm and how much AI is removing a layer of cost, or could remove a layer of cost.
Yeah. We're tired of hearing about the end of the billable hour. This must by now be the end of the billable hour.
Yes and no. In my view, I think yes. In the vast majority of cases, it has got to be. Finally, I think we've got to get to that point. But I think there will still be areas of law where the billable hour is still acceptable because it's niche, it's special, it's delivering a point of real value for a client. So I don't think it's going to disappear entirely, but I think law firms have got to be a lot more aware of the fact that the billable hour is unacceptable for most of what they do.
But those, I'm just testing that. For those really crucial areas of advice, the billable hour's never been successful. I remember one client telling me the best advice they got was from a partner at Linklaters, just ahead of an IPO, and it took 15 minutes on the call, and the partner charged them an hour. So that, for me, that billable hour model has never worked.
If you look at parallels in, for example, consultancy, McKinsey have not been charging on a billable hour basis, but they still record their time because whilst from the external point of view, they're not using it, from an internal point of view about the profitability of a matter, a client, a sector, a partner, you need to have that data. And the one thing you can measure is the amount of time that these great brains spend on a specific issue.
Fantastic. So we've had a leverage model, we've had partner time, we've had a bit like a hairdresser. Now you've had your senior consultant, your junior consultant. You've worked out billable hours, but the leverage going forward is AI. So that takes us to the question of pricing, and how are firms handling this pricing dilemma now within AI?
Badly. I don't think it's being handled calmly at the moment. I think there's a lot of panic about what, how, when, where, all of those very basic questions. And I think, as you said, what firms are doing is they're piloting and piloting and piloting, but what they're not looking at enough is the cost model that sits below the firm and how much AI is removing a layer of cost, or could remove a layer of cost. So I think they've got to look back at their model, at their business model, and about where AI is really helping them and where it's helping them deliver to the client. And potentially the only way to do that is to actually do it with clients and say, we're going to charge you nothing for this because we're learning. This is how we're using AI to help us on this. So we're not going to charge you for this parcel of work. All we want from you is your time to tell us whether it worked or not. And wouldn't that be an interesting, well, that's a value model.
But why not charge more with AI? I mean, AI will get you there quicker. So this is a huge contradiction. Is it value-based billing and AI is there? Or is it just your billable hour times 4 times 5 because AI is getting you there as an expert to answer quickly?
One example. One client is brought in some new AI that would massively speed up the due diligence side of things. And they said, our pricing position is going to be, we're going to continue charging the same to the client, even though we're delivering it cheaper and widen our margins. As the competition comes in, we will adjust our price moving forward. That's a pretty short-term tactical approach.
Because we've got a window of higher profitability using AI. And I think law firms are getting onto 2 or 3 years higher profitability, because we've got the efficiency and we're lower costs. We'll get into lower costs later. But that must just be a short-term approach.
But it's an unrealistic approach because clients are sitting there saying, no, we want it now and we want it cheaper now. So the law firms may think they've got a window of opportunity to make more profit. I think that window of opportunity is closed.
And unfortunately for law firms, clients can read and they can see how much they have their own AI, and they can see how much pepper's being made and how it's been growing.
There's a frustration for clients that they're not talking about the AI and they want to have this active conversation. It's back to your point. Tell us what you're using AI for. Tell us what this means in terms of the value and the service delivery, and then we'll have a conversation about how to price it accordingly. But to charge what you would have charged under a billable hour system, but it's now taking you much shorter, isn't quite working at the moment.
Well, it's disingenuous.
Yeah.
It's not
dishonest.
right. It's dishonest, yeah. And I think in a way, I think this is the thing that at the moment I don't see law firms getting, is the fact that AI actually increases the importance of a relationship. They think AI is going to replace some levels of relationship because they are paranoid about losing money, about losing their clients to AI. Actually, what it does is it makes their relationships even more important because it's a conversation. And lawyers some of them are very, very good at this. A lot of them are not so good at client relationships. They've got to get better at that. They've got to go out and have more conversations and talk to people.
So the RFP comes in. What are the areas of work you're interested in doing, and how are you going to charge us? So when you help firms respond to these RFPs, I mean, what is the best thing that they can do? What is best practice in terms of answering that question?
Be honest, I think, and they've got to be really precise on, and this applied years ago, it's not AI that has made this happen. It's just that AI means they've got to get really good at it now.
Yeah.
They've got to choose. They've got to say, they've asked for, this client has asked us to be full service. We're not full service. Actually, we're really good at practice groups 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're only going to pitch on those. We're going to focus on those, and we're going to put together different pricing models for each type of area of law. And that's what should have been happening years ago. It's just that AI has put a very focused light on that.
And then they have the pricing team that comes in and has worked out the AI, or they have this, go back to your point, this shouldn't be about technology. They bring in the technology person who sits when you do the pricing and you do the pitching around the pricing.
Yeah. And I think what a lot of law firms have done, the bigger ones certainly, is bring together pricing experts into a pricing team who help them with this process. And from what I've seen with most of the law firms I've worked with, those pricing people are extremely good. They're really, really good. Because what pricing experts in law firms are doing is trying to actually boil it down to, well, what is the value that you're delivering? And that's a conversation that we have been having with law firms for 50 years. What is your real value? And then prove to me it's valuable. I'm your client, prove to me that's valuable, and then you can charge for it.
Because, I mean, isn't there a nightmare scenario? You get the pricing experts telling how you should price it in the AI world, but you get partners still working in the old world. So there's going to be a huge mismatch going forward, isn't there?
There's an absolute disconnect. And I think also all partners are not the same. Some are really comfortable with board level, high strategic value conversations, and become, certainly when I was on the client side in banking, the people I really wanted to employ were those strategic partners who understood what I wanted to achieve in, for example, a merger or a property deal. They really got it, and they were giving me advice. How could I achieve that way with the right risk and so forth? Not all partners are like that, and I think the partners who are not operating at that strategic level will have some real challenges going forward, because people will say, well, I'm not getting that additional value, that additional understanding. Why am I paying for that on a partner basis? So my advice to those partners would be, really understand your clients, really look at what is important to them as individuals, as a firm, as a board, and take that forward so that you can add real value, because that's where the partners are going to be living going forward.
And of course, one thing we have to address is that Harvey and Legora, they have such a huge amount of investment. They're never going to recover that by looking at legal services primarily. They're going to have to sell directly to the GC and then sell directly to the clients. Thanks to all those law firms that have helped train Legora and Harvey over the last 5 years, presumably it's going to be clients using it directly and disaggregating their external providers.
Absolutely. Well, not fully disaggregating, but disaggregating the more basic levels. It actually puts at a higher premium, that big strategic advice we've been talking about. And separately, as they look at this huge amount of data, the precedents that have gone into this, one of the questions that may come up is the issue of legal privilege. Are we moving into a grey area where legal privilege, if fed into an AI machine, is actually being eroded, and again will expose the law firm?
And I think there's another point to think about, which is that AI is being used to a certain extent as a cost-cutting tool. And the more you take out junior people because AI has replaced it, for one scenario, the more risk you are actually taking. Because then where do your more senior people come from? You know, you've got nobody trained. I mean, it changes the whole balance of what law is about potentially, because law has always been about that sort of lockstep approach to training people over a long period of time. If the people at the junior level aren't learning because AI is doing it for them, then where are your senior associates and partners of the future coming from? So I think law firms have got to work that out.
Yeah.
And the leadership has got to look at it not only as their business, but they've got to look at it as a sector, the law firm sector, and how they can responsibly develop that as well.